Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Doctor. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. I hope wherever you guys are, you are doing good as well. We're going to be taking a look at whether or not you guys should be looking to jump into this game if you are a new player. So there's probably a lot of people out there who looked for tons of reviews on War of the Visions, and all they get is the reviews from launch. So this is going to be a couple months in. We're about 3 months in from launch, and we're going to talk about if it's still a good time to hop in and what my opinions are on the game so far. So first of all, I gotta say that I do really enjoy this game, but it is a very grindy game. So if you're someone who isn't in it for the long run, if you don't want to be grinding, if you don't want to be optimizing your teams, if you don't want to be going for all of the little detail-oriented stuff, this game might not be for you. So let me talk just a little bit about what I'm talking about. Let's just take a look at our unit here, and we'll take a look at, well, we should probably look at someone who's not upgraded. Let's take a look at Medina. So for example, when you're looking to level Medina, you have so many different factors to consider. You have job levels over here on the right side. You have limit break, you have awakening, you have abilities, and then in those abilities you can actually enhance all of those abilities with Gil and JP. Not only that, when you're looking to actually use the unit, you have equipment, and the equipment can be leveled up, and each equipment has 3 different types of classes that the equipment can be, so you need to make sure you're picking the right type and optimizing. You have espers because each unit is able to equip an esper, and each esper has to be leveled up, and they each have their own individual skill tree. And then of course finally you have vision cards, and vision cards are like an additional stat that you can put on each character. So for example, you have a specific stat, so in this situation Maneater +6 goes on the individual character, and then you have a party stat, so you can see that unit attack resistance +13 goes to my party members, and so you can level these up as well, and they all carry stats that add on to your character. So if you're not someone that is crazy into grinding, crazy into optimizing, this might not be the game for you. I know for me, that's personally what I enjoy the most out of this game. And I love the capability of being able to min-max. I love the ability that you can make teams that are lower tier but still very powerful. This gacha game is sort of different compared to a lot of gacha games where of course there's going to be a tier list and units are going to be at the top. But a lot of the times it's about how you use the units that you get. And then of course how you sort of develop them with their equipment, their espers, and their vision cards. So it's quite possible that you can come into this game, and personally I wouldn't reroll. I am not a reroller, and I would just come into this game, do your initial rolls, and try to find a way through it, because I think it's really rewarding when you're able to find strategies that are counter, and I think this game really rewards that. It's very horizontal progression based. It's not very vertical progression based, so you don't have to have the newest character that's out. You can be really powerful without the newest character. Yes, you might not get into top 100 arena. You even might be able to though, so it's very interesting how it's set up. Now, let's talk a little bit about the summon system. So you guys saw that I was talking a little bit about limit breaking right here. So in a lot of games, like the first Brave Exvius, for example, you have basically you can pull a unit and then you can max them out immediately. Well, that's not the case in War of the Visions. You see here that Stern needs another 929 more shards in order to reach his max potential, and until he does, he's capped at level 89. So in this game, you don't spam pulls. You can see that I actually have a ton of UR units down here. Mashery, I have Whisper, I have Sir Eld, I have Ayaka, I have King Rob, I have Thancred, I have Ziza. I have all of these max rarity units that are not leveled up because I don't have the resources to level them. So instead of pulling on banners non-stop, what you actually do is you farm shards or limit break shards from the shop. So you might look at, let's say that I wanted to level up Dorando today, and I would buy 5 of Durando's shards. Now the shards are of course based on units that are in the game. There are different ways to get shards. They have different events, so shards are not going to bottleneck you too terribly. You can easily farm for them, but it is an example of how you kind of have to pick the unit you want, and it's a little different because your currency isn't always used for pulls. A lot of the time your currency is going to be used for farming shards and for being able to focus on a single character, buy the shards that you need for that character to max out that character. So even if you are someone who comes in and you're like, I'm just going to pull nonstop and spend all my resources on pulling, you're not going to have a strong character because you're not balancing everything. This game is all about balance, you guys, and it's incredible how much about balance it really is. Now, let's talk about the pay-to-win aspects of the game, because they are definitely present, and there's definitely a paywall that sort of, if you push into the game a certain amount, you are going to be blocked by the amount of money that you're investing in the game. So let's talk about Chocobo Expeditions, for example, here first. So for example, Chocobo Expeditions are where you can get Magicite like this, and you can use it to level up your espers. And you can see that I have 2 expedition parties here, but my 3rd expedition party is not capable of running because I need what's called Royal Rank 10. So you can only increase your expedition parties, so you can see I have 2 here and not just 1. You can only increase your expedition parties by spending money, which means you have to increase your Royal Rank. So Royal Rank is a set of benefits that are given to you depending on the amount of money that you spend in the game. And it's not required, but it is very helpful. So you can see at Royal Rank 7, I get +7 high-speed expeditions, I get +17 NRG purchases, I get 18% more EXP and Gil, +7 raid orb restores, +7 arena orb restores, +18% more acquired JP in the barracks, +7 total shop upgrades, and +10 NRG restoration items. And then I'm almost at Royal Rank 8, which gives me 2 times speed. So there is an auto function in this game, and when you hit Royal Rank 8, you get a 2 times speed. You should automatically almost have access to 1.5x speed. You do have to get just a little bit into the game in order to unlock that. But it's pretty much one of those things where, yes, players who are spending money are going to be able to get further along than you, and they are going to have access to more resources than you. And there is that aspect of the game where just by having the Chocobo Expedition open here, just by having the 2nd Chocobo Expedition, I'm able to prioritize 2 espers, not just 1, and I'm able to level up 2 espers at once, which is going to put me at an advantage over you. But let's put it in the perspective of how that actually helps me be better than you. Because I think a lot of people are going to be immediately turned off by that. They're going to think, well, wow, I'm just going to be screwed if I don't invest money. I think that might not necessarily be true, because you have to understand, when you're taking into account PvP, you can only use 3 units, which means you only need 3 maxed out espers. So if you are doing things like just focusing on 1 esper at a time, maxing it out, if you have a set team of 3 that you're investing in, you're going to be just as strong as the people who are paying to win. The only thing you're not going to have is you're not going to have that access to the horizontal elements that they might have over you. So maybe they have more espers leveled up, so they can swap their espers in and out depending on what units you're using. But even then, that doesn't punish you, because when you're doing arena or when you're doing PvP, when you pick your matches, the opponent doesn't get to choose what they fight against with you, if that makes sense, because in arena it's automated and in PvP it's hidden. So it doesn't help them necessarily, it just makes them more flexible. And in the long run, I think this game is absolutely free to play friendly, but it's something that does need to be talked about and addressed, because I think a lot of people are immediately turned off by it, and I think they don't need to be. Now, of course, you're probably like, well, Dr. Diggs, you're coming from a huge ass Wales perspective, and you guys are absolutely right. But for those of you that don't know me, my husband does play the game as well, and he is 100% free to play. And he has a team comp that is growing stronger that will probably kill me soon once he's fully leveled up his team. Now, let's talk about some of the social aspects of the game, you guys. There is, of course, the guild function, and the guild function is going to have statues that you can level. There is guild battles, and I would say overall the guild function is one of the funnest functions of the game, you guys. I do enjoy the social aspects. I enjoy running my own guild, and I enjoy the ranking system because it kind of creates its own community on Reddit and on Discord. We kind of have an understanding of who the different guilds are, who is sort of at the top, who's in the top tier. So for example, I've met many people who are in top tier guilds that are just like, hey Diggs, you came by and said hi, thank you so much, it was fun fighting your guild. So there's a very sportsmanlike ship atmosphere. There is, of course, those guilds who are very try-hard and really pouring everything into it, but overall it's a pretty warm community. Now, I think one of the best things about this game is that the developers are updating this constantly, and they're doing it faster than they did on the JP side. So this Frontlines War of the Visions FFBE, for example, talked about all of these updates that are coming, and it's raids, item exchange shops. It's going to be, well, animated trailer, battle improvements for hate. It's going to be talking about multi-quest improvements, guild improvements, guild battle improvements, equipment improvements, options improvements. These are improvements that came to JP significantly later than they did in Global. So I really think that the global team that is running War of the Visions is very on top of it in order of bringing quality of life to us, even amid a global pandemic. So shout out to them for really bringing these functions early, bringing it in, making it accessible, and really sort of just killing it, I feel like. Now, of course, we do have daily missions, as you can see here, and we also have monthly missions, and the monthly missions are wonderful, you guys. You get so many good stuff from the monthly missions. You get a ton of great materials. So the missions are just what you would expect in any other gacha game, except they are updated daily and monthly. They're wonderfully great. There's a Monday bonus mission right now, which just gives you the best stuff. It really makes Monday a little bit funner. In terms of PvP, we do have Arena, which is going to be auto versus AI. And you can see that you can pick your team here and push on in. And then, of course, you have the match battle, which is going to be the manual PvP, which is a lot of fun if you're super into that. I personally don't like it. And finally, we have one of the features that I think is one of the coolest, which if any of you guys have played Alchemist Code, you're going to be familiar with this. This is going to be the multi-battle feature. And so for half of the NRG cost, you can actually run missions with a whole bunch of other people. And the one drawback from this is a lot of people, if they are using emulators currently, will crash, and it has to do with the functionality of the emulator with the game, and it is unfortunately not been fixed yet, and I'm not sure there is going to be a way to fix that, but something to know. I think it's best to play this game on your phone. Ooh, sorry guys. And I definitely wouldn't be playing it on an emulator if I was going to be doing the multi. Now finally, we are going to talk about the story, you guys. I think the story is fantastic. They're currently on chapter 6 right now. It is going to be very easy for you to catch up if you are looking to join and play. It's the first 2 chapters, I'm going to be honest, they're pretty plain and boring. I would not, I mean, if I were you, might just hit the skip button on those. But once you get past the first 2 chapters, it starts to get interesting. The characters start to kind of take on their own identity, and the world really starts to build itself. So definitely something interesting there. So overall, is it too late to jump into this game? I definitely don't think it is, but you have to understand coming into this game, it is a horizontal progression based game, and it's going to take time for you to grow and become more powerful. And it's not something where you can come in, and even if you're a whale and you're jumping in and you're like, I'm going to drop $1,000 on this game, that's great. You're probably still going to get your ass kicked by free-to-play players, because you have to invest the time in this game. You have to understand all the mechanics and how it works in order to fully bring out the best potential of this game. So it's one of those games that you have to be playing for a long time. It's one of those games that, you know, you might probably play for a year, and then after that year, you're finally at the top of your game. You finally have your team built. It's one of those games that, you know, you put on the back burner. It just kind of keeps going. You enjoy it. It's not a game that you can actively play all the time unless you are actively whaling or otherwise. So yeah, I think you should play it. I think it is not too late to hop in. I think it's never too late to hop in. I think even if you hopped in and you're 100% free to play, you could 100% play this game. And yes, you might have whales that are way stronger than you. You might have other players that are way stronger than you. But if you give it time, once you build up your 3-man team, you're going to be able to tackle the content. You're going to be able to do it. So definitely give it a month when you first hop in. Give it a month, give it 2 months. Get your characters to level 9, focus on a 3-man team, and slowly build up to it. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening today. Hopefully some of you guys were inspired to play this game. If you were, make sure to check out my Discord. If you have any more questions, just come in and ask them questions. There are people in there who are more than willing to talk to you. You can come check out my stream. I'll talk to you as well. We can talk about the game. I can talk to you about the best strategies. And overall, you guys, just thanks so much for watching. Drop a comment in the YouTube section, and people will respond to you there as well. Thank you so much.